Vancouver has a huge problem with fire ants. That's right, I said fire ants. Myrmica rubra, the European fire ant, is invasive across the lower mainland area. Ants are nesting at extreme densities, sometimes with more than one nest within a square meter of another. The ants swarm and sting aggressively when disturbed. I have personal experience with this. It hurts a lot. The ants are rendering lawns, gardens, and parks basically useless, and they're also causing ecological damage, completely altering the community structures. And the worst thing about the fire ants is that we don't have a solution for them. The ants nest completely underground, so insecticidal sprays are not effective. Insecticidal food baits are available, but these ants don't seem to forage on them. Which brings me to my research goal, which was to create a better insecticidal food bait specific to the European fire ant. And I planned to do this by combining the most attractive foods with attractive pheromones and a carefully chosen insecticide. For the food portion of my research, I had a huge list of things I could possibly test. I tried apples, kiwis, pumpkin, beans, tofu, cat food, and the list goes on. In the end, I found a specific combination of multiple ingredients was the most attractive to the ants. My highly attractive food bait contains carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Turns out, the ants like a balanced diet. I tested this in the field alongside a commercially available ant bait, and I found that my food bait attracts twice as many ants. For the pheromone portion of my research, I focused on trail pheromones. In nature, when an ant finds a really good food source, she goes back to her nest and leaves a chemical trail behind her. Other ants use that chemical trail to find their way to the food, so I tested whether applying a synthetic version of the trail pheromone in a line leading up to my food bait would lead to more ants foraging on it. Basically, I gave the ants directions. I tested this in the lab against food baits that did not have a chemical trail, and I found that at the correct dosage, 3 times as many ants would find their way to the food bait if you had a pheromone trail leading to it. The final portion of my research will be adding an insecticide into my food baits. The idea being that since ants share food, they'll be able to pick up that poison bait and distribute it to the entire nest, including the queen. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to use an organic agent, possibly a fire ant-specific pathogen, so the end result will be safer to use. I believe that with my combination of delicious food bait, trail pheromone, and a bioinsecticide, I have a recipe for fire ant death. And I'm confident that at my graduation, I'll be able to definitively say that this is how you get ants. Thank you.